Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, a comprehensive explanation. The Psychology of Money, Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed, and Happiness is a best-selling book by Morgan Housel, published in 2020. Housel, a partner at Collaborative Fund and former columnist for The Motley Fool and The Wall Street Journal, argues that financial success isn't primarily about intelligence, education, or technical knowledge. Instead, it's a soft skill driven by behavior, psychology, emotions, personal history, and mindset. The book consists of 20 short chapters, many structured as standalone essays with stories, exploring how people think about money in irrational but predictable ways. Through engaging anecdotes, historical examples, and behavioral insights, Housel illustrates why smart people make poor financial decisions and how ordinary people can build lasting wealth. The core message, doing well with money, has little to do with how smart you are and a lot to do with how you behave. Behavior is hard to teach, even to very smart people. Financial outcomes are shaped more by greed, fear, ego, optimism, pessimism, and social comparison than by spreadsheets or formulas. Chapter by chapter, breakdown and key ideas. The book is narrative-driven, using real-life stories, e.g., Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, janitors who became millionaires, to highlight psychological pitfalls and virtues. Here's a detailed walkthrough of the main chapters and lessons. No one's crazy. Your personal experiences with money, shaped by when and where you grew up, form your worldview. What seems rational to you might seem crazy to someone else. For example, someone who lived through the Great Depression might hoard cash forever, while someone born in the 1990s boom might see stocks as always rising. Lesson: understand that everyone's money decisions make sense in their unique context. Your experiences represent just a tiny fraction, 0.000000001% of global money history, so humility is key. Luck and risk. Luck and risk are two sides of the same coin, often indistinguishable in outcomes. Bill Gates' success involved immense luck, access to a rare computer in high school, just as failures often involve unseen risks. We over-attribute success to skill and failure to stupidity. Lesson: be humble in success. It wasn't all you. And forgiving in failure. It wasn't all them. This prevents envy and risky overconfidence. Never enough. The hardest financial skill is knowing when to stop chasing more. Social comparison fuels endless greed. There's always someone richer. Stories like Rajat Gupta, billionaire insider trader, show how enough is elusive when ego drives you. Lesson: avoid the trap of moving goalposts. Define your enough early to prevent ruinous risks for marginal gains. Confounding compounding. Compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. Warren Buffett's wealth isn't from genius returns, but from starting early and letting modest gains compound over 80-plus years. A 10% annual return over 50 years turns $1 into approximately $117. Lesson: time is the most powerful ingredient in wealth building. Good investing isn't about high returns. It's about sustained returns without interruption. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. Getting rich requires risk-taking and optimism. Staying rich requires humility, fear, and survival. Many get wealthy once, but lose it due to overconfidence. Lesson: build a margin of safety. Conservative habits like saving aggressively and avoiding debt to endure inevitable setbacks. Tails, you win. Most financial gains come from rare tail events, e.g., a few stocks drive market returns. Success often looks like consistent wins, but is driven by a handful of big hits amid many failures. Lesson: Embrace volatility and diversification. You win by participating long enough for tails to emerge. Freedom, money's highest dividend, is control over your time. The ability to do what you want, when you want. Studies show controlling your schedule is the strongest correlate to happiness. Lesson: wealth is for independence, not status. Prioritize flexibility over flashy spending. Man in the car paradox. People admire fancy cars, but they're really admiring the owner, not the car. No one cares about your possessions as much as you think. They want respect. Lesson: true admiration comes from humility and kindness, not displays of wealth. Wealth is what you don't see. Wealth isn't spent money, cars, houses. It's unspent income, options, flexibility, and security. We see spending and assume richness, missing the invisible savings. Example: a janitor who died with millions versus a high earner in debt. Lesson: wealth is hidden income, not turned into visible stuff. Save money. Savings rate is the biggest driver of wealth, more than income or returns. Save without a specific reason, it provides flexibility for unknown opportunities or emergencies. Lesson: saving is the gap between ego and income. Spend less than you make, no excuses. Reasonable greater than rational optimal financial plans fail if they're too rigid for human psychology. A rational all-in on stocks portfolio might maximize returns on paper, but cause panic selling in crashes. Lesson: aim for reasonable plans you can stick to, e.g., hold extra cash for peace of mind, even if it lowers theoretical returns. Surprise! History is full of surprises. Nothing unfolds as expected. Economists rarely predict recessions, yet we rely on past patterns. Lesson: build plans with room for error. Expect the unexpected. Pessimism for planning, optimism for action. Room for error include buffers, margin of safety, in forecasts. Assume future returns are lower than historical averages. Lesson: over-optimism kills portfolios. Conservative assumptions let you survive black swans. You'll change goals evolve. Long-term plans must be flexible. Endgame desires, e.g., early retirement, might shift. Lesson: avoid extreme optimization for one future self. Build adaptability. Nothing's free. Volatility is the price of admission for high returns. View market drops as fees, not fines. Lesson: pay the fee patiently to reap rewards. You and me investors play different games, short-term speculation versus long-term compounding. Don't mimic others' strategies. Lesson: know your game and time frame. The seduction of pessimism. Optimism sounds naive, but it's the force behind progress, e.g., post-UBW growth. Pessimism spreads faster, but optimism wins long-term. Lesson: bet on sustained growth despite short-term doom. When you'll believe anything, we cling to appealing stories over harsh truths, especially in uncertain fields like finance. Lesson: question narratives. Seek evidence. All together now. Concise recap of key behaviors. Be humble. Save aggressively. Allow margin for error. Be reasonable. Respect compounding. Prioritize time freedom, etc. Postscript: a brief history of why U.S. consumers think the way they do. Explains American attitudes toward money, debt, and risk through historical context. Overarching themes and practical advice for content creators. As a content creator, this book is gold for videos, posts, or scripts. Its stories are relatable and shareable. Key takeaways to apply or discuss. Behavior trumps knowledge. You don't need a finance degree. Master greed, fear, control. Save like a pessimist. Invest like an optimist. High savings rate plus long-term index funds equals high odds of success. Compounding requires survival. Avoid blow-ups. Stay in the game. True wealth is invisible. Options, security, time freedom, not Instagram flexes. Housel's personal approach: low-cost index funds, 20% cash buffer, paid-off mortgage, for sleep-at-night peace, not max returns. The book isn't a how-to-invest guide, no stock picks. It's behavioral therapy for money. It's timeless because human nature doesn't change. Greed and fear are eternal.